Carl Bernstein went on CNN and spilled the beans on not just Joe Biden, but more importantly, spilled the beans on Biden's enablers these past year, saying there have been multiple instances of the president collapsing in front of multiple people, and why you haven't heard about this from the inside. Well, let's go to Carl Bernstein.
Carl, according to the people you've been talking to, what are you hearing?
Well, these are people, several of them, who are very close to President Biden, who love him, have supported him, have been among them are some people who have raised a lot of money for him. And they are adamant that what we saw the other night, the Joe Biden we saw, is not a one-off, that there have been 15, 20 occasions in the last year and a half when the president has appeared somewhat as he did in that horror show that we witnessed. And what's so significant is the people that this is coming from, and also how many people around the president are aware of such incidents, including some reporters, incidentally, who have witnessed some of them. But here we see tonight, as these people say, President Biden at his absolute best, and yet
he's talking about what he's talking about is Biden at his absolute best. Literally a 4-minute speech about the Supreme Court
on teleprompters.
On teleprompter, yes, 4 minutes. Okay, Biden at his absolute best. All right, we'll let that go for now.
These people who have supported him, loved him, campaigned for him, see him often, say that in the last 6 months particularly, there has been a marked incidence of cognitive decline and physical infirmity.
What I wonder about is the people who were, working with him at Camp David, allegedly in this intensive debate prep, if there were concerns there about this, and I don't know if you have got any word about that, but how anybody involved in that debate prep, didn't anybody see something was amiss?
The debate prep was supervised by Ron Klain, who has been with President Biden for many years. And people I've talked to have all been to Ron Klain in the last year to say, we have a problem. We have a problem such as we saw the other night, that there have been numerous instances where the president has lost his train of thought, can't pick it up again. There was a fundraiser at which he started at the podium, and then he became very stiff, according to the people there, as if it were almost a kind of rigor mortis.
This was reported allegedly in June of 2020.
This was this was a year ago, almost exactly.
A year
at the
ago.
Old Four Seasons restaurant on Park Avenue. And he became very stiff, and a chair had to be brought for him to do the latter part of the event. I think that what these folks are saying and have been saying for a while is, yes, he's great when we see him as we have tonight, but he also has these inexplicable moments that we're very concerned about, and you, Ron Klain, and the First Family, we need to talk about this, and they've been pushed back repeatedly whenever it's been brought up.
And are there your sources?
Sorry.
We're both trying to pause it.
That's it. We don't need any more of that.
All right. I just want to point out, very much as in all other areas, it seems, cinema, literature, education, music, people's standards have been so systematically lowered that you have Carl Bernstein there. Oh, yeah, when people see him like this, it's great. No, at his best. Imagine this man running in 1955.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? We would say, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Nobody would even consider voting for somebody like this. That is how low the standards have gotten. And you can see presidents, whether you like them, whether you don't like them, Eisenhower, Johnson, Nixon, Carter even, none of these left you feeling they're not intellectually up for this job.
Right.
Reagan was a game changer in that regard, where you have somebody, there was a remarkable mashup that somebody put together that showed Reagan doing an old commercial and cut it with his speech, and he did it exactly the same cadence, like
Right.
beat for beat. He did it. That's it. He played the part of president, and over time, that's just continued, where you've had the expectations of what a president is intellectually, morally, what they represent. You've just had it systematically decline. Now, you might say, well, Barack Obama was smart and he was talented. Sure, he was also what? A one-term senator? He had no
Right.
real accomplishments to speak of. That would not have flown 50 years ago. Somebody like that would maybe later down the line, once they had more of a record, you couldn't have become a president with that kind of that level of experience at one time. Our expectations of what's acceptable in that office have been systematically lowered over time, to the point you've got one of the great reporters of his generation sitting there parroting the party line, even as he's lending some truth. He's also, what he's saying is fucking absurd. Bernstein's been around. He knows better. Fucking Nixon was Augustus compared to this guy.
Biden was Augustus compared to this guy. He's saying this was Biden at his best.
Right.
Nowhere
what are you
near
talking
at his
about?
best, right? So maybe, I don't know, he's trying to put a little window dressing on his point there. But the point of that is, and this is what we've been asking ourselves since Thursday, is, okay, here you have a very credible reporter coming and saying that people very close to Joe Biden have been noticing this for a year. He says 15 to 20 instances. I'd be shocked if it wasn't much more than that. Maybe those are the examples he has been explained by people who have talked to him.
Well, and with this, not to cut you off, but with this fundraising story he told, okay, so that happened a year ago. These people talk. Everybody fucking knew about it.
Of course.
Why on earth did you think you were going to be? I mean, it's just sheer fucking hubris to think that this was not going to happen. What did you think? We're not insiders. We weren't privy to that story. And we've been saying for over a year what's going to happen when he has to run a campaign. And we're not the only ones who have been saying that he got away with it in 2020 because they were able to hide him in a basement.
Of course.
That once he had to go do a real campaign, this was going to blow up in their faces. You have people who had inside information. Why didn't the donors run that party? Why didn't they, as soon as that happened, they had to bring out a chair for this guy, say, this isn't going to work.
It isn't going to work. That was a year ago. That was 1 year ago where they could have done everything on the up and up. He could have withdrawn. They could have had a primary. They'd have rigged a primary for Newsom. Nobody would have noticed or cared. In their base, you would have had the 30% of the base, the Bernie people. They rigged it. Yeah, big surprise, schmuck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what would have happened. But the point of that actually relates to what I think the main takeaway from this is that you have a credible reporter saying that people around Biden, very close to Biden, knew this was a huge problem going back a year, and that they were essentially stifled by Biden's inner circle, by the family and by his, top two sort of staff team. How, if you are terrified right now, as so many Democrats are, that Donald Trump is going to win this election, how could you not be equally furious at the Democratic Party?
Right.
Where is the outrage from the Pod Save America people? You have your John Favreau. Yeah, Biden, he didn't show up last night. You were Obama's speecher. You know how this shit works. Where is the outrage at the party? These people think we are about to become 1933 Germany. It's very obvious that the people who they tasked with preventing that from happening have been lying to their faces repeatedly for a year, telling them they were on this and they weren't on it. Where is the outrage? The fact that there's no outrage is why I've been saying for years you must dem exit, not just because of the leadership, because of the voters. If people won't get pissed off about this, if libs won't get pissed off at their party over this, they'll never get pissed off at them for anything. They'll let anything go. Yeah.
Well, and you remember, because there wasn't that Biden love that there was for Hillary. There were genuine Hillary fanatics. There never were people like that with Biden. So the libs, to justify their vote, Remember, they kept saying, well, we'll get Biden elected and then we'll hold his feet to the fire.
Yeah, right. The guy fucking melts on stage and you're still supporting him. Hold his feet to the fire.
You guys.
Yeah.
You guys are going to hold a Democratic president's feet to the fire. What, in between fucking mimosas at brunch, you fucking idiots? Yeah, no, this really is a satire. It's a satire. How mindless can voters be? How partisan and tribal can voters be? If you are running around saying he's an old workhorse or it's a cold or don't you dare abandon him, and at the same time, I will again point out, these are the same people who can't tell you enough about how much they think Black Lives Matter. This man has done more real damage to black and brown people than any living and active politician. And I have put to libs many times. I've said that. And I've said, name one person who has done more real world damage to those communities. I haven't had one of them name anybody. They know. They know.
Of course they know. But they won't say anything for the same reason they will not say anything. The guy can literally malfunction at the biggest moments of not just his life, but according to the liberal base, not according to me, but according to the liberal base, probably the most consequential moment in American history, according to them. If they think Trump wins, it's all over. This was the biggest moment of the campaign. This was one of the most pivotal moments in the history of the country, according to them. He shits the bed, and they're still, well, you know, he had a cold, he was this, he was that. Even if you are still backing him, even if you're still backing him, you should still be furious at the media and his inner circle for gaslighting you about this. Even if you're still backing.
Never.
Yeah.
That's too much cognitive dissonance for them. Because it's all a show. It's all a show. It's all a lifestyle brand.
Please clap.